Hello, and welcome back to NieR Replicant. Last time we completed the game for the first time and got ending A. And after I read a bit online, I think I want to try to get the other endings, which are 5 in total. So 4 remain. And I also read more or less how they work, how you get them without spoiling too much. So yeah, the big problem here you see is that we have to replay some sections of the game like in Automata, but here it's more or less one to one with a bit new content, but we will see. I probably go through the game like that. Maybe I can cut. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go. Last time after ending the video I started this and
Whenever I interacted with Kainè, I was reminded about something from my past. Maybe my mind has been confusing her with my sister this whole time. Anyway,
okay, we already saw this. This was after the time skip when Emil changed his form and we broke back kind of from her petrified state. So yeah, as I said, I looked at what would happen if I start the game file again, the save file again, and yeah, there will be a lot to read. So brace yourself. But I think it's kind of backstory. The sound of rain filled the village. The steep cliffs that surrounded the area magnified sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Thin whips of smoke streamed from huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden hawk-shaped weather vane at the center of town. The wanderer reached the vein, which had existed for long as Annie could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that had survived a shipwreck. Those traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. Uh, yeah. If the beak turns east, I go home. If it stays west, then I. The child blinked. Rain slowly dripped down the young one's short hair and began its long descent to the ground. So yeah, as I was playing it last time, I skipped through all this, and it took a lot to go to the end. So we will. There is, I think, half a novel in the next in the next game section. So yeah, as I said, brace yourself. Come on, come on. The child felt a slight breeze and watched as the vein slowly creaked to life. Spinning this way and that for a moment, it finally settled with a beak pointing firmly toward the east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning out, tumbling through the air, striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as a hail of stones began to fall all around. Oh no, they found me. A heart-breaking smile crept across the child's face as the stones continued their assault. Through the rain, the sound of multiple footsteps grew louder before a voice rang out. Yoho, Kainè. The voice belonged to Demo. Worst of all, the bullies in the Eyrie. Okay. As Kainè struggled to stand, a final stone came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from a cut above her eye and blurred her vision, but she could make out the shapes of Nemo and his usual gang of idiots. The boys seemed to take aback for a moment by Kainè's seeming indifference to the blood dripping from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Why did you finally decide to run away from home? Though she knew it was futile, Kainè turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning their eyes. Kainè knew those were not the only eyes on her. The tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to the sensation. It was one she had experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the actions of their children, many encouraged it openly. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kainè was something to be hated, and if possible, destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Timo's words chewed at her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong, be brave. He can't hurt me, he can't hurt me, he can't hurt. Oh look, the little freak is gonna cry. What's wrong? You're sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Kainè prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from a world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her, as Timo crept her ever closer. The clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless. A failure. I wish Deimos rock had taken my head off. Kainè couldn't meet Deimos' leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. The boy grabbed Kainè's face with thick fingers and yanked it upward. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. Show me. No. Did you just say no? Timo grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Not even taking his attention from Kainè, he called to his cohorts. Come on, guys. Let's give the freak what she deserves. As soon as Timo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kainè. Timo paused, still grinning, as Kainè curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. Then get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kainè ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane. Continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future it had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak, chanted the children. Freak, freak, freak. Kainè closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the clutching hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell, but the pain never came. Only when the laughter of the tormentors turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kainè was shocked to see Deimos sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my god, he's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves, as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began an uneasy shuffle away from Kainè. But the young girl was the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was wrapped on the ancient woman standing a few feet away. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. Hurts like a bitch, don't it? And I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. If any of you little bastards ever touch my Kainè again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it. The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Deim was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palm into the wound and twisted back and forth. "Ah!" he screamed, leaping on his feet. "Stop it! What are you doing? Quit whining. I know one never died from a scratch. You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch. A big one. That thing could have killed me." The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid. Deimos' face twisted with rage at her words, locking his eyes on Kainè. He took a step backward and spat on the ground. "Get out, leave this village. No one wants you here, either of you." Seeing the old one grab another stone, Deim and his companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. "Ha! Look at the fat boy go. Guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight." The one smile faded as she turned her attention to Kainè. Kneeling down, she moved her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders, and produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood of her forehead. "Oh, Kainè," she said, "why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot." The words of her grandmother stung Kainè, and she turned away. Don't be nice to me, she said. I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore. Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall on the muddy ground below. Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was that. Kainè's tears turned to sobs. She felt her grandmother's hands on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength. Kainè found herself unable to turn away. Don't talk like that, girl. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempts to the crossing. You got a duty to fight until your last breath. Understand? The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Kainè. You know because you survived it. As the words hit home, Kainè was struck with the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother, but when her parents died, the one who quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kainè called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence. Okay. And their first few years together had not been easy. But with each year that passed, Kainè and her grandmother had grown closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood caking her face, that Kainè truly understood the depths of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, but fought through all those things and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kainè's pain and loneliness, it was her. Did I make you sick, Grandma? Of course not, don't be an ass. Kainè drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't. Hush, interrupted Grandma. I don't hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter, and I love you. And if folks have a problem with that, they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wedge of dried flowers in Kainè's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stems or losing a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kainè want to cry all over again. Oh my gosh, these are lunar tears. Grandma, you made this for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kainè reached up and touched the breath, as if she couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? Just stumbled on them while I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she spoke, leading Kainè to suspect that the search had been more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in its construction, made Kainè's heart hurt. She reached up and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but it sure looks good on a pretty girl like you. Kainè blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're gonna be fine, you and me, she said. Long as we got each other, we'll be just fine. Kainè took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began the long walk home, Kainè gripped the hand with all her might, as if trying to stop smoke from drifting away on the wind. The rain had stopped. Kainè stood beneath the weather vane, watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough. Here meets us against the world. Kainè let her gaze drift up past the vane and into the cloudy sky. The last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. She turned and headed for home. The light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on the breeze. Okay, next one. Daily life. As I said, a lot of text, but really interesting. I mean, not this way of... this way of conveying information is a bit weird for a video game, but yeah. In the distance, Kainè heard the steady sounds of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, as if she was hearing a master woodsman go about his work. Ah, this is the place where we met her, just outside the area. The firework being produced, however, was as far from a work of art as could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe. Kainè's grandmother flared away with the axe, in the air with both splinters of wood and words that would make the most of her hardened sailor blush. "Grandma," cried Kainè. "That you, Kainè?" yelled the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. "Don't get too close, or I might take your goddamn foot off it by mistake." She rolled the axe down on a piece of wood, sending chips flying in every direction. One swung past Kainè close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she'd scattered to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, "Grandma, do you need help? I can get you water or lunch or a new axe or something." The axe poised to strike another wobbly blow. Paused in midair, the old woman considered her grandmother's offer for a moment, then smiled. "Tell you what, since I'm doing such a piss poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can go get the water? Shades have been restless lately. I don't want you running into one of them bastards." Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was by far the more difficult of the two jobs, but Kainè knew better than to complain. Once grandma's mind was set, there was no changing it. Kainè did her best to help with chores, while grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kainè knew the real reason. She didn't want her one daughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kainè moved in, grandma decided to take up residence a good distance from the Eyrie. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter. And rare were the days when any but the two of them could be found on the rocky acre of land they called home. Kainè enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kainè turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated that chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, and when she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. Frustrated, Kainè swung the axe around her head and threw it, long and all, across the yard. Damn it, crap. She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt in a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it in front of the wood, and resumed chopping. She had not more skill with the blade, but the task was challenging, and blisters soon began to form on her small pink hands. "This is tough. My logs are weird sizes." Spitting on her palms and ignoring the pain, Kainè redoubled her efforts. Just as she was developing a rhythm, grandma returned from the village, setting down her buckets with a small sigh. She took one look at the logs and coughed out a wheezy laugh. "Pretty clumsy girl, you better practice if you..." Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kainè dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. "Grandma." The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. "Get the bucket. I can't let it spill." Kainè steadied the bucket with a foot, and she knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home in the hem of her dress, but Kainè didn't notice. Grandma, what's happening?" Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulders and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and patted Kainè away. "Stop that, just stop," she cried, breathing heavily. "It ain't like I'm dying. I'm just tired from the trip is all." Kainè desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more than words ever could. Her grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and it seemed the bill was finally coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kainè was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the position would be reversed. The next morning, Kainè came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. "Grandma, you're sick, and you need medicine. I'm going to the village." The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kainè gently pushed her down. "It's alright," she said. "I will be fine." Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed an eternity, finally lowered her eyes and sighed. "Well, I don't like it, goddammit." but I guess I should quit being so stubborn and let you grow up. The old woman watched as Kainè strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as the unseen sun made its way across the dark and rainy sky, she was still watching. Kainè moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by Shade or worse, Demon and his gang. But then she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and Kainè finally found herself at the entrance of the village. The few adults she could see glanced sideways at her, then muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kainè took a series of rapid, shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself, I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chatted those words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling anyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kainè's presence. "Hey lady," said Kainè with a bravado she did not feel. "Where's the apothecary?" The once flabby cheeks shook in bewildered anger. "How dare this thing speak to me?" they seemed to say, but Kainè saw that her eyes held a different emotion, fear. "Yeah, we're both scared, lady, trust me on this one." "Which way?" Kainè repeated. The woman pointed at a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. Kainè cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary. But the new emotion had little time to take root, for as soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Demon. He's clearly been sent here on some kind of family errand, because his gang of followers was nowhere to be found. "Oh my god," he sputtered. What are you doing here, freak?" The insult was delivered without force, and Kainè happily ignored it. Searching on tiptoes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for the medication. "Ah," barked Demon. "That old bitch finally killed over?" "Go to hell, Demon." His eyes grew so wide they seemed ready to fall out of his head. But before he could fly a comeback, or worse a punch, the apothecary told them to knock it off before he kicked them out of the store. Demon slunk out of the shop, cursing Kainè under his breath. Once he was gone, he allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles filled the cramped store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic, but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies gave Kainè a sense of peace. Surely, in a world so vast, there would be a place that she could call home. On the far wall behind the counter rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once contained bright, vibrant colors, but time had worked its cruel magic, and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. Like that picture, Kainè turned to find the apothecary with a small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad. I seemed to stare through her and into nothing as he spoke. "That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl. She's been dead a long time now." I didn't know how to respond, just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. "Pictures are wonderful things," continued the shopkeeper. "Let the ones close to you live on forever." He shook his head slightly, then looked down at Kainè and smiled, handing her the medicine. He reached into the sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. "Get rid of these. There's no one left that I wish to draw." Kainè took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. "Yes, I've heard the rumors about you," he said. "It's a small village," and word travels quickly. "Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I know your grandmother, Kali. I think the way she was driven out of this town is just deplorable." "Grandma's name is Kali?" thought Kainè suddenly. She was still mulling this new fact over in her mind as she reached out and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hands. "Your grandmother is an old friend of mine," he said as Kainè scooted away yet again, "and I owe her much. I wager she would like it if you drew a picture of her. Yes, I think she would like that very much." And I murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was just a step nonetheless. With enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kainè returned home, she found her grandmother asleep in her bed. Her feet were blackened and warm, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Kainè to think that she had been pacing around the room until exhaustion finally caught up with her. She placed the medication by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. "Back already, are you?" asked her grandmother with a yawn. "Come here, let me have a look at you." Norma sat up and examined Kainè from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. "Well, how was it? Those bastards give you any problem?" "It was kinda fun," said Kainè with a small smile. "No, seriously, it was." "Fun, eh?" asked her grandmother in a voice which implied she believed anything but. "Oh, so anytime you need me to run around, just let me know." As she spoke, Kainè removed the crayons from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother that she was going to sketch her portrait. "A portrait of me? Ridiculous. No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crone." "What, Grandma? I will make you live forever." "Bullshit," said her grandmother, throwing back the sheet from her bed. "Living forever would be just piss me off, and put those crayons away and help with dinner." But Kainè wouldn't relent, and in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house as if posing for a master artist. Kainè took up the crayons, eyed her subject carefully, and set to work. As her grandmother was about to nod off, Kainè finished the piece. After staring at it for a bit, she released it from her grip and let it slowly drift to the floor. "It's terrible. It doesn't look like you at all." "I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, make drawings easy or something." The old woman's eyes narrowed at her granddaughter's disappointment. "And maybe a judge of that," she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. The sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly misshaped loaf of bread, all rendered in a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out a laugh. "Oh, Kainè," she said between laughter, "you truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me, and I love it. But, hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly you think it is. It came from the heart, and I would treasure it always." True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Kainè would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face, an action she interpreted as silent, mocking laughter. A week later, Kainè could stand it no more and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. "Push," said the old woman. "I'll take this down when there were me in my shroud." She pondered this for a bit, then turned to Kainè and dropped to one knee. "Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before. It makes me want to go on, so that someday you can feel the same happiness." There's a moment that burned itself in Kainè's memory, a perfect blend of pride and love, and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. It's hard to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in the world possible. Time moves on, people and memories move in and out of a life like ghosts passing through a hole, but this moment will be different, Kainè swore, because I will remember it forever. Forever. Kainè's dream separation. We're already at half an hour of just reading, it's insane. Kainè's listening to the sound of cracking firewood and stared. Kainè listened to the sound of cracking firewood and stared at the black object on her plate. She's been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned her courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twist with disgust. "Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug." The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. "It's not a bug, you fool girl. It's a berry." "Why the hell would I be feeding you bugs?" "Yeah, well, it sure looks like a bug," said Kainè. "I think it's burned or something, because it smells terrible." With that, Kainè held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. Oh yeah, that's terrible. Alright. Why, you little brat, laughed the old woman. Look at the sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact. 5 years had passed since the moment when Kainè's grandmother saved her from the police. As is often the way with two stubborn people, the relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter and hurled abuse in equal measure. And I could not remember a time when she had been happier. As years went by, Kenny started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. And to this morning found Kenny lacing up her work boots with a breakfast of burnt berry rolling to her belly. "Where are you going today?" asked Grandma suddenly. Kenny looked up, surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. "Well, I was gonna check out the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we would make some jam or something. Oh, I'm going to pick up some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow." "Flagstones? What in the hell for?" I stared at her grandmother, then held out an arm and swept it around their home. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubber, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. "Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this house. I'm going to build a stone wall so we have some protection." The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin into the world. "What damn girl? If a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let them come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves. I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday." The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. "Well, shoot, I don't know why you have to do it today. You can worry about it some other." "Grandma, no. If we don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight. You know that?" A confused expression passed across the old woman's face. For a moment, she was a small child lost at a carnival. "Yes," she said after a bit. "Yes, of course, you're right. I'm sorry, Kainè. Lately it seems my mind is..." She didn't finish that thought. Instead, walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the breath of lunar tears from the drawer. The flower petals... Blah! Too much, really. The flower's petal had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kainè thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. You're gonna be a true woman soon," Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. "That means less chatter about shades and building defense walls, more talk about how beautiful you've become." Annoyed, Kainè reached up to remove the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. "You're a beautiful thing," said the old woman. There ain't... Bleh. And there ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you." "Okay, Grandma, that's enough goddamn compliments for one day. Your mouth on you. Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder. Why did you choose to suss me, girl?" yelled Grandma. Suddenly she lurched forward and grabbed Kainè by the ears, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. "Grandma," yelled Kainè in a quaking voice. "Grandma, stop it. What the hell?" The old woman stared at her and blinked, and slowly held her wrinkled hands out if it was the first time she had ever seen them. "Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girl. Something my mind just..." And thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she had ever seen. "Listen," she began. "Maybe we should stay home after all." "No, I won't have you stay here to keep an eye on an old culture like me. You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot. I will be fine. And when you come back, I will have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you." Kainè rolled her eyes and kissed her grandmother on the forehead and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing at the walls of her heart. And could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around, she told herself, but in the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel for a final look and saw a small, bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. God, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kainè worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little food she could collect was tossed carelessly in the wheelbarrow. She only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, they decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kainè pushed a nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crested the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. Her gaze was transfixed on a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead, tracing its path with a finger, and suddenly felt her stomach knot in on itself. No, oh god, no! The grandmother's house was ablaze, flames licking up as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma, grandma! Kainè ran then, faster than she had ever moved in her life. Once she tripped up a stone and went sprawling into the rocky ground, but she leaped to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her wooden hands and knees. Ah, okay. That's why she had them mandated. As she got closer and closer, Kainè's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. So dark, not just fire. Can't be fire, too much smoke. God save her, God save her. They burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt. There was suspicion confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingling with the thick, inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on two twisted feet and achieved balance through means of a large armored tail. Scarce horns and claws sprouted from its body in a random clouding pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. King Kainè let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment the creature retrieved into shimmering inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her, a blend of rotten meat and excrement, and the horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kainè responded with a scream of her own. Alright, you bastard. She thought as her scream echoed off the high cliffs around them. It's you or me, let's go. Shade eyed Kainè with bemused interest. Then he began looking for her to the house and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it had so gleefully wrought. With red whirling her heart, Kainè glanced toward the house. Through the smoke and flames, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. Grandma! At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. She's alive, thought Kainè, alive. Kainè's legs sprung to life as she raced across the yard towards the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth, let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kainè tumbling with the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Charles danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. Get up, get up, get up, get up now. As Kainè struggled to her feet, the shade stomped toward the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood in the air, and collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kainè lurched to her feet only to fall back to the earth with a gasp. The anchors were on fire. One or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. Grandma, hold on, just a little longer. Grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes roaring back until only the whites were exposed. Kainè pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, the distance seeming to increase with every second that passed. Shade glanced between the two women and flickered out its tongue, giant mouth turning up at the corners, short, panting breaths belched from somewhere deep inside its core. Bastard, laughing at us. He had no idea how such a mindless creature would experience emotion. There could be no doubt the Shade was taking joy in their suffering. Yeah, I see your plan. Shade moved its claw slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive only to snuff out her life when Kainè was close enough to touch her. I'm gonna kill this bastard. Summoning all her strength, Kainè rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backward, but she forced it from her mind and began to hobble towards the monster. Pulling a small knife from the pouch of her waist, she leaped on the foot and pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. Give her back, she screamed. Give her back to me. It was like stabbing a rock after a few swipes. The knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. The shade panted laughter again, and raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air towards a young girl that was attached to its foot. Kainè never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. As she lay on the ground, with blood pouring from multiple wounds, a small weak voice spoke up. Kainè? Kainè's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hands reaching out to her through the smoke. Grandma? Kainè, you gotta run. You can best this one. Kainè grabbed the hands and held on with all her strength. Grandma, come on, we have to go. The old woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, thick with blood, slipped from Kainè's grasp and thumped to the ground below. Grandma, no, no! I said, God damn it, you have to live. You have to get through. The thought would stay forever unfinished. Before she could say another word, the shade-clawed foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof and down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed from gaps in the creature's toes as the terrible putrid smell assaulted Kainè's nose once again. Stared at the foot, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all the remains underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kainè blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of the embrace, the trembling of the fingers, but then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and was gone. Memories flashed through Kainè's mind, one after the other, faster and faster, until they became a meaningless jungle of noise. And I screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolving into smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as it crept towards its prey. Kainè's body slowly rose, as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles, her head lolled dangerously to the side, yet somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backwards, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. When I seized the moment, laughing like a mad woman, she leaped into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook clean off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once again. Her chest rose and fell slowly, as if a great weight were resting on it. Almost sounds of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? I think it is. I think I'm bleeding to death. No, can't die. Grandma told me to live. Deep inside Kainè's mind, something finally broke. The sound, the pain, the smoke and flames, all of it faded away until all that remained was a single incantation repeated over and over again. Kill it. Yeah. The spark that was Kainè slowly began to flicker and die. She felt her desires to kill, her desire to live, blend into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer and longer and longer. Whoa, this was 40 minutes of reading, but really nice backstory on her part. Okay, we saw everything. Now we have to fight the tentacle monster again.
The beast approaches.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we can skip this. We already saw this.
What anger this creature must have. How did it even survive these past 5 years?
I'm not gonna let this happen again. It dies today.
My sword feels lighter. It's not the blade, but the skill of the user. Strike it down.
Okay. Yeah, what now? Okay. Fuck. Okay. Okay. Can skip here, and now it's dreams encounter. The next one. Gently, weakly, softly, the shade shredded its tormentor was dead, turned and stomped off towards the horizon, toppling along the way to bellow one final roar. Couldn't kill it. Shamed beyond imagining, Kainè tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a rugged stump of an arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's man. Thought with She thought with a mad giggle. This is gonna make clapping a real bitch. Ha! Cried a sudden voice from the depth of her mind. Finally gonna die, are you? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, demon. She thought at the unseen assailant. Go to hell before I pluck out your eyes and feed them to that dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you. That way you can live forever. No, stop. Don't want to live forever. I want to die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, if that's what you want. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to Kainè and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, real as life. Kainè opened her mouth to thank her the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, dozens of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. Stop, no, don't hurt that picture. Kainè reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely the arm. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture onto the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kainè turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother truly was a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The apothecary smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. See that? Glad as he danced his jig. It's perfect now. She looks just like you. Ha ha ha. I look like that. Oh god, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Drowning in despair, Kainè laid her head back in the mud and smoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. And you got a wish, sunshine? The voice was vulgar and fierce. At the same time, as if insanity had somehow found a way to take form, Kainè wanted to scream as the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. You know, a wish, like a prayer or something? Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven? Please, invisible man in the sky, save me, save me. Ha ha ha. Kainè finally resorted to shouting at the voice with her mind. I don't make wishes, they don't come true for me. I'm a curse, a freak. I should be left to die. But her voice boomed in her ears. Bah ha ha. Oh god, you're the best. Then I glanced down and saw a black shiny substance oozing from her legs. She tried to brush it away, but the remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet, and then began moving up towards the rest of her body. This death, this is what it's like. It's my mind just losing itself. She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot, searing pain it left in its wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive, and this was real. Come on, said the voice, let it go. I tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. Nothing wrong, my sunshine. You're ready to give up, ready to die. So why not let me have it? Have what? Your body, come on, give it to me, give it to me. I wanna stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind. The voice paused, as if licking its lips, and resumed. It was filled with mad, unabated joy. And when I take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people, you wanna tear out their throats and bathe in their blood, just like before. In response, Kainè shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it kept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. Are you a shade? Ah ha ha, yeah, maybe. What of it? Slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kainè was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small whispered moan. Feels good, don't it? Asked the voice with a chuckle. Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body. Come on, give me the body and we'll give you more of this feeling. It felt great. A black lamp began to protrude from Kainè's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. I can see better, she thought. My arm must be growing back too. The arm reached up to envelope the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveling at how she had regained her voice. Stop. Black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, and quickly shimmered down her body before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Ah, what the hell, sunshine? Screamed the voice. It's a deal. I thought you wanted to die. Grandma said, I can't die yet. A brief image of her grandmother, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that killed her and heard its mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. The whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they burned with bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die. Then I glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern, part of the shades, burned itself into her left arm. Well, I will be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, sunshine. I think you and me are gonna be good friends now. And I stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more the letters seemed ready to puncture her skin and begin infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop, stop. Putting her left arm in her right. Kainè took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. It's my favorite dish. I am hungry. Let it go. Feel the anger. Burn with the fire of revenge. Thirst of blood. Then go out there and... Shut up, and get the hell out of my body. Your body? That's so rich, sunshine. Really rich. Look, don't you just up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those bodies of yours in the Eyrie would love to see you dead. Kainè grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist, crushing it. Kainè screamed and dropped the shard as sounds of bone crunching on bone filled the air. Hahaha, stupid idiot girl. You're possessed now, sunshine, and there ain't no going back. The voice laughed again, a loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kainè. Yeah, possessed, you and me. Got at you what you might call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Well, till they get a load of you now. I looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? Ah, listen, put the voice. I know this whole possession thing seemed a bit sudden, but ain't I'll bet. There's plenty in it for you too. I'm a very powerful creature, sunshine. I know that power belongs to you. You got enemies, people you wanna kill, I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept picking on you, that big old shade that squashed your granny, or wrap them up in their own assholes. No more abuse for you, sunshine, no more pain. Oh, wait, said Kainè. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade? What, you think I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a good damn who I am, murderer. Money pants. I just want drinks from the well. Kainè considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt on her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, about it, you and me. We could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you don't want. Fuck off, asshole. Mother Kainè. I'll handle the killing. Ha! Screamed the voice. Look at you go, oh sunshine. We're gonna have so much fun. Listen, my name is Taran. And if you even need me, I'll just be hanging out in this place of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour, and I like rotten and sour. Kainè found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think this can work. I wanna find that shade, and I'm gonna strangle it with its own guts. When I'm done, I'm gonna do the same to you, Taran. Count on it. Ha! Laughed Taran. I have shit bigger than you. Good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body, but if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, then I'm going to take over everything. So keep on killing, Sunshine. I'll watch your back. The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away, fading in somewhere deep inside Kainè herself. Kainè waited until she was sure the voice was gone, and waved her new left arm around a few times. It feels perfectly normal, she thought. It's like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at a new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want it to feel normal. That would mean the creature inside her had already won. I'm not a shade, I'm Kainè. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was the wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through hell and back, the garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kainè started to place it in her hair, slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. I'm sorry, Grandma, I'm sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. This time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding flowers to her heart, Kainè fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dawn, the people of the Eyrie rose to their daily lives. She remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror now infected the world.
Alive.
Ooh.
Stay alive.
Yeah, we had the
Stay
whole
alive.
story,
Grandma.
and there's possession to shades too.
Kainè, you gotta live. You gotta come back to us.
Wow, that was almost a transcendent experience. Jesus. And my throat is destroyed, by the way.
Emil, you were the one calling me, weren't you?
You still recognize me?
Of course. I knew you right away.
Thank you, Kainè.
Welcome back, Kainè.
Wow, you grew up. So, how long has it been?
5 years.
Shit. That's a long time. Any luck with Yonah?
We are still no closer to finding her. We need a way to locate the Shadow
Oh,
Lord.
I guess we can
Is that... No.
do it. He gave her the lunar tear, which now we know the context of why it's important to her.
Kainè waking from her long petrified sleep.
Alright.
Emil's unflagging kindness. Our reunion was a happy one, and we let it wash over us like rain. That is, until Devila and Popola had to go and ruin it all.
Alright. We know this one. Oh, we can skip
No, you
through it.
Right.
But...
We'll stop.
What is the matter?
Kainè always sleeps outside. I never thought about that.
And now
until
we
just
know
now.
why she sleeps outside, because she enjoys the sense that not much people around, because yeah, of her experiences.
Never even occurred to me. Damn it.
We should turn in.
Okay.
I didn't get much sleep that night. For the first time in my life, I hated Devila. For the first time in my life, I doubted Popola. But those feelings are pointless in the end. They said and did what they did for the sake of the village. To protect it from the horror of the Shades. Really, how can I blame Devila and Popola? In the end, I'm just as bad. Because I never once stopped to think about Kainè and Emil's situation myself.
That's new.
I should apologize to Kainè and Emil. But what good would that even do?
I got a fire going, Kainè.
Wait, is that...
Campfires are... I'm so happy to get to talk to you again, Kainè.
Yeah, me too.
I tried everything I could think of to save you, you know. I polished you with a special cloth. I poured warm water over you.
Wait, you poured water on me?
Yeah, but it didn't really do much except make you all shiny.
Hey, Emil. Thanks for saving me.
I guess you noticed how I look different now.
And yeah, she rubbed her right leg, no, her left leg and left arm with cloth to indicate these are the parts regenerated from the shade. So don't forget that those are not hers. Very, very interesting fact to see when you know the context.
I'm sorry, Emil. I'm sorry for all of it.
It's also the reason why she's always so angry and wants to fight all the time and kill, because if she goes soft, the shade takes over, right?
Well, I mean, this new form isn't all bad, you know? At least I can look at you when we talk, right? Hey, so why don't you tell me something about yourself?
I'm not very interesting. Sorry.
Come on, I just want to know you better. Please?
Fine. This all happened when I was a kid. Before the whole shade possession thing. My body is... different. And when the villagers found out about it, they started treating me like a freak.
But why is her body different?
But one person, my grandmother, accepted me just as I was. No matter how bad things got. She gave me the strength to keep going.
She's really special to you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey! That gives me an idea.
That's a big mystery. Why is her body special or different?
Since we cured your petrification, we should start looking for a way to cure your possession and my body. I know we can do it if we all work together.
That will not work out.
Heck, it'll probably be super easy.
Let me guess. More warm water?
Okay, can we just forget I told you about that?
Oh, I still have the sword from the previous ending. I mean, these will probably be some types of new game plus things.
Sleep well?
Sure.
And yet you're red up. Don't be so hard on you.
I need to go see Devila and...
Very
Okay, this is what we already had. Okay, I know that...
What might that be?
It's Mom's diary.
Oh.
I have not heard you speak much about your mother.
She got the Black Scrawl and died when I was little.
My apologies for bringing it up.
It's all right. I can barely remember her face anymore. This is the only thing I have left of her. Reading it helps remind me of when we were still a family.
I see.
But the final entries get a little... strange.
In what way?
Well, here. Take a look.
Oh.
Say there, can you not hear me?
What's going on? Who is this?
Why are you standing about like a slack-jawed ninny?
Sorry. Felt like I was dreaming or something.
Sleeping on one's feet is quite the talent indeed. Come now, there's the door.
Right. Let's go.
What is going on? What? A battle? What is going on? This is a word of the recycled vessel, created to avoid the destruction of all. What is going on? Can you please stop? We have to go. Let's go down all the way. I don't know what's going on. I'm shocked because I really don't know what. Who is this person? Oh. Okay. Is this some weird arcade mode? Black Scrawl, Lost Destiny, White Book, A Past Road. Yeah, the color filter is a bit rough. What's going on? I think it is some arcade gauntlet shit. For those soul-coring folk by death, the Legion was plunged in a world in darkness. Kidding me? Kidding me? What? I'm not saying anything flabbergasted. How long is the Dragon's Corpse brought death to the world, delving onto the power of magic? Ah! No, I was jumping. Jesus Christ. I mean, oh. Maybe we did it. Black sickness stained the future, the journey to return to soulless vessels. I'm flabbergasted. What the fuck is this? Yeah. Yeah, more, shoot more, shoot more. Someone else? No. Jesus. No! There you go. The Kabuki outfit. Yeah, this has to be some. Am I done? Oh yeah. You've sensed something terrible or sinister beyond this door. It made it difficult to endure what awaits on the other side unless your soul is at least level 28. Have it. Avoid the destruction of all. No, do I have to do it again? Bullshit. What? Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to do this shit again. Why can I not go out of it? Kidding me? Do I have to die? Let's try to die. maybe these ones are not the best enemies to die from. Did I kill everyone? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if these ones give me XP. I think I doubt that this looks like a... Kill me. Kill me. Oh, you're so bad. You cannot even kill me. It's insane. Jesus. I realized only now that these things don't do any damage to me. Oh, but these things do a lot of damage. The enemies don't do much damage, but these things, the magic does. Okay. Can I go out from this thing? Yes? No? Yep.
My word.
Something wrong?
I feel as if I've just awoken from a most
Yeah.
unpleasant...
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Oh, what was that? What is that? Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's certainly a gauntlet of some sort. But yeah, I know that for the next ending we don't need anything. We just have to replay this part of the game. But for the ending C and D, we need all 33 weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I mean, I guess I will search for
I should
all
talk
the...
to Devilov.
Right. I will search for all the weapons in the next... after the next ending, so... that's... should be
Hey.
Oh,
Yeah, we already
So,
You let.
did the same things. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we will have to do the same things again with the boss fights. Oh, we have to do the tree thing again. Jesus Christ. Are my trophies? Okay, no, they're
What is
reset
the-
from...
it's me.
They're reset to this part of the game. Okay. Oh man.
Popola?
Oh,
Look, I want to...
stop.
Yeah, you're just...
It's.
Ahem.
Oh, you know about the lost shrine.
The temple where I...
That's it.
Oh,
But the...
So,
A boat?
yes. It took a lot longer. I also asked them to provide a boat at the ferryman will let you use it free if that should make it easier.
Thanks, Pope. I feel like you've done... I'm really... Alright.
And for the
Okay. In the last 4 minutes, we can go to the we can go through the shrine and that shit again. But wait, do we not have to do the?
The path above the entrance to the shopping district should lead to the...
Yeah. Okay.
how excellent to know the canal is finished. Hopefully this puts our days of running all over behind us.
The faster we can move, the faster we can save Yonah. Let's use it as often as we need.
I think I have to buy the weapons, right? How much money do I have? A good bunch.
Oh, you. Yeah.
That's great. Where's the weapon shop of this town?
Hey, you. Yeah, a I'm collect.
That's...
So that's. Hey. Yeah, I'm collecting them.
That's...
So that's what.
I guess.
One.
Old...
Welcome.
Jesus.
Blacksmith's all.
Okay, I guess then. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, okay, I guess the weapons that remain are the ones I have to buy. I think. But maybe I should not buy all of them, because then maybe I will not trigger ending B, which would be a shame. So I don't think I will do that. Ah, we have to do this dude's thing again.
Hey, shh.
A bear.
Oh,
Dang it!
Ah no, we don't have to do it. Can I speedrun through this thing up to the top?
Let
I guess I can do it. I mean, if we evade all the enemies, should be doable. Answer? What do you want? Go away, dirty defective swine. I'm not like you, I'm different. Oh. Backstory in the Shades. Like we had backstories on the machines in Automata. That's interesting. Oh, I don't know if I will be able to do this. I mean, I have to save in any case, so I will end the episode when I reached the save spot on the top of this place. Yeah. I think that makes sense. Please, be faster. Faster, faster. Okay. Weren't there enemies here the first time? Guess not, right? We have more of this. Again, stop bothering me. Grimoire Weiss has been taken away. Answer's dead. There's no reason for me to exist anymore. And if it's over, just leave me alone. What? That's really interesting.
Ain't you excited, sunshine? We finally get to bathe in blood.
Don't talk to me.
I want to kill so bad I can barely stand it.
Interesting. We can now hear Tyrone. I mean, he was introduced, so that makes sense. I will evade everyone here. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, I will have to do same thing all over again. So let's breeze through this. Rough that they have to do these push puzzles again. Maybe I should have ended the episode of the village.
This is all too easy.
Jesus. Again, I know. Oh, leave me alone, please. Don't annoy me. I can clearly remember how I did them last time. Okay. You can see the shades on the other side of the wall. Wait. Okay, come back. Come back to him. Okay. Oh, jeez. Turn back.
What's with these guys?
Certainly not your garden variety shades.
Their bodies aren't fully functional.
Say, I've heard of this. A cursed area where incomplete shades gather.
Okay. But nice that now we here Tyrone give us his opinions. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah, I think I should have ended the episode in the village. This is a big fat waste of time. Big fat waste of time. I mean, the whole concept of replaying huge swaths of a game for another ending. You're dead. Are all dead? You're still alive, piece of shit. Okay. Now there was a big one, right? Can I ignore him? Oh yeah, I can. There you go. More on greater. I've treated you all poorly. I mocked you, betrayed you, all because you were gestalt before the change was complete. But after all this, I think I can understand you. I think we can speak on this equals. This makes me very happy. I hope we can spend the rest of our life. What was that?
Kainè? Emil? Look, from now on, I'm going to sleep outside with you.
Why?
I can't accept that you aren't allowed in the village. It's stupid.
So you're staging a protest? Fun!
Don't waste your time.
But it just feels wrong.
Well, that's really nice of you, but you still don't have to stay out here with us.
Emil.
You got a super important mission. You can't sleep out in the rain. What if you catch a cold? Besides, I like camping with Kainè. Sometimes we sit around the fire and tell stories, or roast...
Emil, that's enough. I got a fucking image to maintain.
I completely forgot where to go. Are you kidding me? Has to be here, right? Ah, here. Jesus.
We seem to be surrounded by a mob of helpless puppies.
Just kick him aside.
At least we kill enemies very fast. Alright, this was all for today. This was a big reading session followed by a gauntlet type shit. But yeah, next time we will rediscover what's new in this new run and see what happens. See you next time. Bye bye.